you do like it.
I love it, yeah.
Now when you go pre-owned, you can enjoy the same feeling you get with a new Toyota. Tested and backed by Toyota.
Upgrade your car, mate.
This? Yeah, no big deal.
Toyota certified. Pre-owned in a class of its own. Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.
Well, after we unfortunately missed you last week, welcome back to the simrigs.com Oz Pro-Am Sim Series Season 8. And, well, it's time for one of the wildcard rounds. And I think the best way I can explain this is it's a little bit like high school muck-up day or last day of term, something like that. We take a little bit of a break, a little bit of a change from our usual GT3 format to bring you some of the wilder, wackier, more challenging, more entertaining combinations in Down Under sim racing. And things are going to be a bit of a slipstream fest, it looks like, for tonight, because welcome to Daytona International Speedway, the road course at night. We've got plenty of drivers for this new season, Season 8 of Oz Pro-Am Sim Series, so there will be lots of door-banging, slipstreaming, high-speed action tonight across both divisions, the Pass 2 and our Pro-Am top dogs. David Haynes and Nick Skraev with you tonight. Jay Kennedy resting his gentle voice box with the production, the cameras, the replays, everything that you're going to see on show tonight. Thanks for joining us wherever you're at. Where we are at, Daytona International Speedway. I haven't been there since July. You'll find it, at Daytona Beach, and what a world-famous, historic place it is, whether you're in stock cars turning left at over 200 miles an hour, or the many years that the 24-hour race has been bringing the world's best sports cars and drivers to the shores of Florida. You don't know it. Well, it's fast on the banking. You've got the infield with the horseshoes. And what this graphic calls the bus stop is now officially the Le Mans chicane. I think you're going to hear many people still calling it a bus stop for a couple years to come. Hello to you, Nick. How are you doing this evening?
Absolutely, Dave. Absolutely excellent. Daytona International was there in October last year. Great to check it out. It's absolutely huge, and you can actually see there plenty of circuits around the outside, and the track is booked out for something like 250 days of the year. So there's only about 90 to about 100 days where the track is inactive. So there's always car clubs there. Obviously, they mentioned the 24-hour as well as famous for its NASCAR race around the oval section, of course. Backs onto the airport, as you can see there, and really not that far away at all from the Daytona Beach as well. So, did
you go to the kart track just outside of Turn 6 or NASCAR 1 and 2 there? You can almost see where it is.
Yeah, I did. It was a very brief tour, so unfortunately didn't really get the chance to look too much at it, but it was actually nice to get out in the circuit. So such a, absolutely iconic track, and always puts on such a great show, especially I know that we've got the MX-5s coming up as well. Really bunches up the field. It almost has like a pro cycling peloton feel. You've really got to kind of stay with the pack to stay with the bunch.
Such a versatile track too, isn't it? It's almost mecca to both stock car oval races and endurance sports car races all at once. And you can race here during the day. You can race here at night under those lights. It can almost do everything. Let's look at those championship standings for Pass 2, because they are first up for their racing before we get to the big guns. Got to make sure you pronounce that correctly, unlike Neil Crompton, of Oz Pro-Am. And look at that, pretty tight up top between Aaron Obersteller and Jake Jackson. Just a teeny number of points there. And while this is wildcard round, it is still points paying. You want to put your best foot forward. Nick Buxton, Ben Pollock, Matt Hardigan, and Benjamin Johnson, those two are on tied points there. Got Hamish Munro, Hilton Booth, Simon Dwyer, and David Baz as our top 10. After just 2 rounds, anything still could happen, and I guarantee you it'll happen here. So what have we got for the global Mazda MX-5 Cup car that our past 2 drivers are going to be racing in? Well, it is a super popular form of motorsport on this continent, very well backed by Mazda and the Road to Indy ladder with some scholarships there. It is the ND2 specification we are racing with on iRacing, and that means it's got the 6-speed sequential gearbox and 181 brake horsepower. It is no slouch these days.
Absolutely. So you can just see here, coming through this big chicane, it makes it a little bit easier here in the MX-5, a little bit slower, so it makes it, as opposed to some of the GT3 cars and the LMP cars going through, makes it a little bit easier just trying to find those apexes. And you see there, it's all going to come down to, you can see just how spread out that field is over our top 10, top 11 cars there, about 3 seconds or so. So you can see what Hayden Jackson's doing. He's right on the back. You need to be able to have that slipstream. It's not really a track where you can just try and grit your teeth and muscle it out on your own. You really need the assistance of others there. So he comes around all the way up into second place. So you can absolutely see there, using that brake marker. Oh, you just see that bit of oversteer there. The brake bias in these MX-5s are weighted quite a lot to the back there. So that big sweeping corner unsettles the car too, coming off that banking onto the flat section there. He's coming up through the inside, so potentially not too far from that group in front, so you might be able to get another decent hot lap in. We do have about 7 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock.
Almost the halfway point of this 15-minute qualifying session. As you can see, it is all in, all out on track, so it's like F1 cars at Monza. That positioning with the slipstreaming, where you are in the group, oh so important. We ride on board with Braden Sagasar, and you get a great impression of how much that slipstream is worth in a car like this. Where's Sagasar at the moment? At the moment, no time. He's going to cross the line. And the answer is that is going to leap him all the way up to second. He's still 6/10 away from Joshua Robertson. So what a mighty, mighty time that is. But for Sagasar, halfway through this session, I'm sure he's glad to have a time on the board now. And it looks pretty strong. Across to Aaron Obersteller, you saw right up in the championship points. You don't necessarily need to win tonight, but if you've got that great little points advantage, certainly he doesn't want to DNF tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. There we've just seen Jake Buxton has not put a time up on the board there, so we have seen it's about 19 cars now all the way down. Oh, you can just see well and truly off on the grass, so that is going to be an invalid lap. He will just have enough time there to loop that car around. We are seeing it takes around about 2 minutes, between 2 minutes 10 and 2 minutes 20 seconds to get a lap in there. So if you can try and get that speed, but the problem is now you can see it is a hard cut, mind you. You actually see you need that momentum coming out of the bus stop to be able to really carry that speed. That little MX-5 trying to push, seeing all the people pop up. It's starting to become a full crowd. You can see it takes a lot of momentum to try and build that speed up. When they cross the start-finish line, those two make contact. Oh, make contact again. I don't think they'll be happy with each other.
Yeah, Hilton Booth there, one of the stronger drivers, it must be said, in this division. And so that's not great because that lap is gone. Your next lap is going to have to be an out lap probably. And you're running out of time to get around. Like you said, hard cut. That means when the checkered flag drops, the session effectively drops with a red flag at the same time. So it's not like, oh, checkered flag out, I'll come around and complete this lap. When that clock expires, the session is done. That's what we mean by a hard cut. So when you see that pole at the moment is a 2:11, these guys crossing the start finish line now, in a great little spectacle that is, they are going to get 2 more laps and that's it. So you do something wrong on this lap, that's almost your session gone. At that point, you're unlikely to be able to get around to then start another one, to then get around on that and finish it once we're at about 4 minutes 20 left in the session. Jackson Bowden, where did he go? Yeah, 16th. Still 3 seconds away from pole. It's a hot, sticky night in Daytona because you can see the sun is pretty well getting close to setting. Still 30 Celsius in the air, 30 Celsius on track, so not peak grip, and certainly not peak power either at those hot air temperatures. This is just a naturally aspirated 2-litre 4-cylinder as well.
Yeah, so I'm just sweating just looking at those, just looking at those statistics. Florida, of course, very famous for its tropical weather here. So you just as they come over that yellow line is where that transition is. In that drop bear car, you can just see it coming a little bit unsettled. Exactly right, though. It does make it a bit hard to get that grip happening there. Aaron DeLuca, though, all the way up in the 4th place, so he might be able to come around again. Oh, it did look like there would be a bit more contact here, so we are starting to see that almost that top 10 starting to squeeze up. They're almost within about a second spreading that top 10. You could see earlier on in the session it was taking a lot of people to try and find their feet, especially in these trying track conditions. And then these two, Aaron Obastella teammates, this is exactly how it's done. You can see really going for the slingshot, so I'm sure those two will be communicating with each other, almost throwing each other across the line. And
great improvement for Obastella. He goes to 3rd, and I can see the purple fastest of all final sector. That's how much the slipstream was worth to him. That's how worthwhile it is to have a buddy out there.
Yeah, absolutely, Jake. Buxton, I'm sure he does have lots of buddies there, but not at the moment on the track. So we are seeing quite a few cars come back into the pits.
All my friends go to another school. You wouldn't know them.
That's exactly right there. And you could say unlucky 13 there, potentially being used as a bit of a tow car here. So we have seen this. We are now dipping below the 2-minute mark. So you would not be able to cross the line and get back around. So the cars that are on this lap, this is going to be a hit here. So we've got Graham Filand, about a 2-minute 14, pretty solid effort though, up and around 14th place. He'll be trying to improve. It's going to be very, very difficult there without a car out in front. So he's going to be foot all the way to the floor, trying to get his way over that start-finish line just a little bit quicker than that 2 minutes 14.
I'm measuring 5 microsectors around the lap here, and he was quickest in the first of them, but then in the next 3, he's not set any personal bests. So I wonder how the final sector goes here without any tow for Filand. You can see the time we're looking to beat is a 14.3. I reckon we're going to get there. I think we'll shave just a little bit off, almost a whole second for Filand, and he does go personal best in the final sector, and that cements a 14th place for him. And as you see, a minute left. People are running out of opportunity to try to usurp and beat that. Here is a pairing that might. Patrick Panton, I think, is the one down low, is going to have the quick run to the line. He's looking to beat a 2:18. That's not super competitive, but a 2:13 definitely is. Puts him to 11th, which is the top half of the field.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're just seeing another car come through. Aiden Jordan there. Oh, unfortunately, not going any faster, I don't think. So he'll be in 16th place. So definitely not a fast way around. I think they've kind of...
I don't think those toe links are any good for Sagasar either. I think that thing's got a little bit of... I think the booty's wiggling to the left. It looks better now he's in a straight line. Maybe it was the banking as you swerve on it creates a weird look. The car definitely wants to pull one way more than the other. So Batsy, not sure that's going to be an improvement. Simon Dwyer is not going to make it to the line, I don't think. That session is about to drop. Thanos snap and, tantalizingly, just 50 meters short of the line. That'll be disappointing for that driver, but exciting for the rest of us because they're about to grid up for their race in Pass 2, the wildcard round at Daytona International Speedway. Sees the Pass 2 guys in the Mazda MX-5 Cup. This is how they will grid up for their racing. It's going to be Joshua Robertson and Braden Sagasar with the front row. Aaron Obastella and Hayden Jackson, row number 2. Aaron DeLuca and Jake Jackson, row number 3. They are gridding up for a 2x2 rolling start in these cars, which is what they typically do in North America, part of the sort of Road to Indy and IMSA grouping, which typically do rolling starts. Jack Anderson is the same name as a guy I went to high school with, but they're not the same person. Sam Batty shares that row with him. Adam Hillmotion and Tom Brown are row number 5, and row number 6 is Patrick Panton and John Nicolay.
Yeah, absolutely. Thomas Leprague, John Gagliardi, Graham Filan there, Ian Jordan, Ben Pollock. I think I might have gone to school maybe with a Ben Pollock there as well. Hilton Booth.
Did you go to
there.
art school with a Jackson Pollock?
That's right. Nick Botterill, Hamish Munro, Jackson Bowden there wearing that number 1 plate all the way down in row 11 though. Ashley DeVries, Simon Dwyer there, Ken O'Hara there on row 12. Stephen Gallagher and Jake Buxton there not getting a lap in. So nice big field. There'll be plenty of action to see.
Absolutely, here they are. This is the view backwards from the pace car, forming up the grid on the back stretch. It'll, pardon me, pull the field through the, I'm doing air quotes here, Le Mans chicane. It's shaped suspiciously like a bus stop. And our field will form up. Did everyone take the grid? Were we missing a couple of cars from the outside row there, or were they just pulling away off the dummy grid at some slightly different speeds? Everyone looks to be forming up about as we'd expect here.
Yeah, you can see it's, I suppose a few cars don't kind of want to sideswipe each other coming through the bus stop, so all trying to get their way through, but you just need to be careful. If you're all the way down the back, you don't want to rear end, and quite often had cars absolutely fly around trying to catch onto the back of the pack and then have rear end contacts there. So just see all the brake lights there, so I'm sure the nerves will be coming up. Nice and well spaced out now though.
There is the famous start-finish line here at Daytona with our famous Barney ready to drop a green flag to get us underway for tonight's proceedings in the simrigs.com Oz Pro-Am Sim Series. There is that green flag. There are those green lights. And we race towards turn 1 from the banking, dropping down towards turn 1. These cars often pretty pointy, pretty loose in the rear end when the tyres are cold, and they will be cold right at the start here as everyone then tries to navigate their way. A little bit of leaning, a little bit of door to door, just about what you expect. The track narrows as you flick through turns 2 and 3, and then you get to the first of the horseshoes, a big braking zone and a dive bomb opportunity as you look at John Nicolay trying to get down the inside of that first of the horseshoes.
Not to put my foot in it, but surely this is very un-MX-5 like to have such a clean start. It does help a little bit having that rolling start. Everyone giving each other plenty of room, and I'm sure the no one will want to make too much of a stuff up here because we do have a live race control, so penalties will be handed down if you misbehave. But no misbehaving so far. This bus stop's going to be a little bit tricky there. This corner is always a tricky one coming onto the banking. It's quite flat there and a little bit hard to see the apex, but you'll see they're all stretched out 2 by 2, or you can just see that car there in third, Jackson. So they're all going to bunch up as they come around. You'll see that there'll be a really big speed difference in behind. So Hayden Jackson will need to get on the brakes a little bit earlier than Joshua Robinson and Braden Segas are there out in front.
Yeah, engage the slipstream cannon. It really does bunch them up as they come in here. Not quite too wide. Look at them all get loose on their way in, and someone's off. Obersteller has run out wide. He's cutting through the grass. He's going to get a slowdown. He's going to lose out big. That'll be a punishing mistake on the first lap. And Nick Bottrell has also come to a little bit of grief. He's slow, and now he's been hit from behind and spun around. So bad to worse for Nick Bottrell on the start of this one. Everyone else seems to be relatively clean, and you see Sagasar and Robertson almost working together here to swap the lead back and forth. It's 3 wide, a bit deeper behind them as well. Oh, chopping, changing lanes. It's 3 wide several places in this pack as the track then drops down and narrows up into the turn number 1. Functionally a hairpin. Oh, they've all gone wide.
Yeah, well, absolutely. There's Sagasa with a real moment. I think he might have dropped a rear tire off in the grass, and we've just seen another car spat right off to the inside. I think it was
Jack Anderson.
Yeah, Jack Anderson there. So managing to know and gone from bad to worse. So he's dropped however many positions. I think he was all the way up, I think around about 5th or so, or started 4th, so all the way down into 19th. He's going to miss out on that reverse top 10 grid there.
Because Aaron DeLuca shooting through in a 2nd place, trying to pick up the spot off Sam Batche. Josh Robertson, who was trading for that lead, is now back into 4th. Things change rapidly with these cars and the way that they race in a pack, especially here at Daytona. Sagasar still leading them as they come out of, I think they want to call it turn 6, but then he's gone up a little bit wide. Aaron DeLuca's down at the low side, and I think he must have started this lap in 4th or 5th place. He now leads them on the banking the first time around before they cut through the bus stop and then pop back up onto the banking. Bump draft in effect, maybe? Are we going to see that on the outside leave Aaron DeLuca hanging? I think that's what they're doing. It starts to get a little risky as you approach the braking zone. Sagasar back into the lead, and Sam Batche trying to squeak through, and he just will. Up in a 2nd, it misplaces. Wrong foot's Aaron DeLuca, and he's under a whole world of pressure now.
You can actually see it's almost, you've really got to kind of work that strategy in. You might not always want to be that first car. We just see the lights are on. You don't want to be that first car coming into the bus stop. You can just see how much that's affected there. I think that was Sagasa that was the first car, and you can actually just see how much that draft is having a good look.
You know what I love about that camera? It shows you how much they scanned in there of the front suspension layout. They are 3 wide for the lead of this race. Something's got to give as they pop down off the banking and break in towards turn number 1. And I think it's DeLuca, the meat in the sandwich. They're at to break a little bit earlier. Sambati is going to go through into the lead. Oh, there is contact. There's a big pile up on right in the middle. Oh, it's still claiming victims. Track almost blocked at turn number 1.
Yeah, absolutely. It does look like they are playing on. There's going to be for a 10-minute sprint race, there's really not really that much opportunity of being able to. Oh, geez, all the way at the inside, all on the grass there. We are going to cut, Dave, to a VRS replay here and kind of work out what has gone on. This actually goes all, here we go in turn 1. Here we are from Graham Filan's view there, so really nowhere to go, and all the cars have kind of clipped in and out there, so we'll just try and go back again. Oh, it's hard to really kind of work out where that chain event might have come. I think it might have been
sideswiped Robertson initially, yeah, and then he gets loose. It causes a checkup, and they're sort of 3 wide behind that. So there's no way to swerve to avoid the slow car when you got someone to the door on the left and someone to your door on the right. Someone's just kind of got to cop it on the chin, but then that causes the flow-on effect, and there are more cars sideways, etc., etc. This is for the lead, though. Sagasar is going to try to come around the outside, take it back. He's got his nose in front as they approach the braking zone, but not enough overlap to try to steal that one away. The minutes are quickly evaporating in this first of 2 races for Pass 2. Normally, they only get 1 race in the evening, but what they have tonight is a 10-minute race, very brutal, quick sprint here, and then that pace points sets the grid for a 20-minute race coming up afterwards, where the top 10 are going to be inverted on the grid. So as always, anytime you've got a partial invert to the grid, the where that cut line is becomes fiercely contested. You want to be on the inside benefiting from the invert, not on the outside getting coal for Christmas.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to be in that 11th place. Oh, gee, you could just see how fierce they are there for that 10th position. So I think if you have a look, car 17 there, car 17 is John Gagliardi. So he's got about 6 cars all wanting that one spot. So he's going to have that target on his back there. He's got the likes of Aaron Oberseller there, Ian Jordan and Ashley Dirivs. Oh, no, we'll just have 2 more cars go around.
Jack Anderson's been sideswiped. I think there was a bit of a touch at the horseshoe, then a little bit of retaliation. My, oh my.
Gagliardi there with the black flag there, Dave. So what has gone on there? Obviously, he's either got too many points or might have been handed down. Failed to clear a slowdown, which you would think would be something avoidable, but yeah, we did see him go off there, so he obviously just decided to keep the boot in it and hope for the best. Unfortunately, it's not going to be his race here. Can come back here for the feature later on.
Penultimate lap. This is the lead. Braden Sagasar picks and chooses the winner and decides he's going to push Jake Jackson through to the lead of the race on the outside. Both of them are going to scoot through right as they reach the commitment point at the bus stop. It was so close for Patrick Panton in the... Patrick Panton. Did he nearly clean out Tom Brown, or did Tom Brown nearly clean out Sam Batchy? Either way, it is super close as they had to brake and squeeze down into single file through the bus stop. Jake Jackson and Braden Sagasar at the lead, still bump drafting. I think they hope they can get clear of the rest as they're about to take the white flag in this opening salvo, as it was.
Yeah, you can just see those 3 behind.
No!
Oh my God,
the bump draft has gone bad. The milk's gone off. And from the lead of the race, it's all evaporated as he's taken the white flag.
Yeah, and you can see that damage to that right rear suspension is... There is no way that Mazda is going to be able to keep going on. So, yeah, Jake Jackson, all the way from second place, all the way to the back there. He won't be able to finish. So we've got... It's going to come down to pretty much these 7 cars here. 6 or 7 cars all bunched in together. So the top 7 all the way to Joshua Robinson. Sam Batsi there leading this group here at the moment. So it could be another potential win here for Drop Bear. Drop Bear obviously being so strong here in our AM class.
So it's going to come down to this group. Time expires. The checkered flag is waiting for them at the line. Sam Batty leads, but look at the group behind him. The way that these cars race, the way the bump draft works, and the stakes at the bus stop, and then the drag race around the oval to Barney. The checkered flag points and setting the grid for race number 2. They're going to all fan out 3 wide, almost an oval style block here from Tom Brown. He goes up, he goes down. Patrick Panton is not going to like that. And now Brown looks for the lead. Panton looks to make it 3 wide, thinks a little better of it. They're going to touch. They're going to touch, right? Not the line that you want if you're Panton. Batty gets the better run off. There is a long way around NASCAR 3 and 4 to the start-finish line. 3 wide up on the exit here. Who is going to get it? Now it's super speedway stuff. Trying to fit your nose into the sandwich. The door closes. Batty's moving them up the racetrack so he can cut back down, pick up the speed, and hope to drag race to the line. But it's not going to work. Thomas LePrake, his name not been on our tongue at all. He cuts down. He's going to have the nose in front as they come to the checkered flag. It's a mess. It's going to end in tears after the checkered flag, but LePrake is going to have a smile on his face. He has picked all of their pockets on the final lap.
Oh, what a run there. I think it was that top 4 or 5 there, only split by about a 1/10 of a second. So really great, exciting race to start us off. Hilton Booth is going to be in that box seat for that 10th, for that invert 10th grid position. So he'll be starting here at the him and Adam Hill Motion will be our first and second car on our front row for the feature race, David.
That's this kind of racing writ large on that graphic. Just a 10-minute race. LePrake has come from 13th on the grid to steal 5 positions on the final lap and be a winner. I'm sure he'll be thrilled with that, because it wasn't just keeping the car clean, but it was the timing. It was chess on 4 wheels for LePrake. What a great job. He will therefore get the honor of starting 10th for race number 2, but that's higher than he started race number 1, so don't count him out for the second race coming up. This is how they finished the first of the races for Pass 2. Thomas Leprake gets that win, thousandths of a second from Sam Batsy, Patrick Panson, Tom Brown, Aaron DeLuca, Braden Sagasar, and Joshua Roberts. Aaron Obersteller did not have a stellar first lap, but he came back for 8th place as many cars got thrown to the wayside and dented. Adam Hillmotion and Hilton Booth round out the top 10. So Hilton Booth is going to be our pole sitter, a blessing or a curse around this place for race number 2. Rest of the field, let's flick through them quickly. It was John Gagliardi. I have a feeling like post-race time is going to get added there if I'm not crazy. So actually maybe expect to see Gagliardi drop down, and that post-race time penalty will get applied before the grid is calculated for race number 2. So just keep an eye on the number 17 car. Jackson Bowden, Hayden Jackson, Ashley DeVries, Ben Pollock, Simon Dwyer, Stephen Gallagher, Hamish Munro, Ian Jordan, Ken O'Hara as the top 20. It starts to become a little bit of a tale of woe further down for Graham Filand, Jake Jackson, Jack Anderson, Nick Bottrell, John Nicolay, Jake Buxton, all one lap down.
What a race, Dave.
Yeah, let's take a look at how Thomas Leprake managed to pull it off, and you see the timing updates, and John Gagliardi does get, my goodness, 55 seconds, I think, added to his time post-race. I think that's the penalty for not serving a black flag, is a drive-through and then some and then some. So he shot himself in the kneecap, abdomen, femur. Hopefully we are going to get to the beautiful replay of where Thomas Leprake positioned himself. Look at this. 5th place as they fan out in front of him, coming towards the bus stop. He looks to get one more. So then he's 4th man up as they come through the bus stop, the last corner of the lap. And you see Tom Brown get a little out of sorts. Leprake goes underneath him. That was a risky little move to look to cut underneath. They're 3 wide at that point. It works out for him. He's a couple car lengths back off the leading 2, which is really where you want to be. Then they're side by side, so they're both stalling out, not slipstreaming off each other. Leprake goes low, goes below, rides the middle of the yellow line, pretty well expected for this circuit. And on the final lap, just as he gets his nose in front, it's too late for anyone to take it away from him. The drivers who did have momentum, Batsy and Brown, then bump doors with each other, kind of blocks Brown's run. And it just all worked out. And what did it come up? 7s, come up aces. Worked out for Thomas Leprake. Let's look back at the big picture though. We're at round 3 of the simrigs.com AusPass Season 8. WC doesn't mean what Europeans typically think of those 2 initials to mean. It means Wildcard. And that's where we are for round 3. We go back to our GT3 machines for the Indianapolis Road Course next week. Mount Panorama. Good track. Goes all right. Some people rave about it. I don't know. Suzuka Grand Prix for round 6. Road America. And then be a wild card at Fuji Speedway. Closes out with 2 pretty good tracks. Sandown and the Nürburgring 24. Just reading that Fuji, that wild card, is going to be in the Camel GT cars. So 1980s spec turbo whistle. We can look forward to that.
Absolutely. It's a cool little Australian series there, seeing some of the Australian tracks in between the internationals. So just a few more minutes until we're back underway. You can just see that sun has really set now, so it's quite dark here. Of course, Daytona having that amazing lighting system.
And they charge for it.
They do.
If you want the lights on in your track rental, that's a line item.
It's a paddling.
Did you do the tour?
I did, but it was the day tour. But it was good to get out of the track, and because obviously they run the tour a lot
Yeah, I stood on the banking. I did the day tour as well. They told us something about the light boxes. I can't remember what
That's
it was.
I think it's if you look into them while they're on, you'll go blind.
Yeah, fair enough. It was
cool to catch the track while there wasn't a racing series on. So you'd think you could just go there and be like Phillip Island, where it's not really used all that often. But yeah, I suppose with the Florida weather, they can kind of run it all year round.
Yeah. So, while we wait the minute and a half or so until they're going to grid up for another exciting Mazda MX-5's race on the Daytona road course, let's thank the people who make this championship, this racing, and this broadcast possible. It is, of course, the simrigs.com Oz Pro-Am Sim Series. Simrigs.com offer a large range of affordable and high-end racing simulator equipment for the beginner and pro alike. They're Australian-owned and operated with product advice and warranty service. They've got single product to full turnkey rigs. Whatever you need, they've got it. Use the promo code OzProAm. You see it on your screen, OzProAm, for a 5% discount on checkout at simrigs.com. I've seen them set up with their various little products at the Australian Grand Prix, and so I can vouch for all of the things that they offer: rigs, wheels, pedals, all sorts. And Chuka Toyota, a family-owned and operated business that understands purchasing and owning a vehicle is a unique and important experience for our guests. We're committed to the Toyota brand, holding the full vehicle range. This means that when you come to our dealership, you'll be able to view and test drive any Toyota that interests you. We also stock a diverse range of quality and certified pre-owned vehicles, each of which has been handpicked by us. For more, head to achukatoyota.com.au. Ferguson Group Media are a full-stack media company that work with small to medium enterprise business across website development, e-commerce, social media strategy, and execution. For more information, head to fergusongroupmedia.com. Great to have our partners on board the Oz Pro-Am Sim Series. They do a lot for this championship. We also got to thank Index Design as well. So we saw the finishing results from race number 1. We talked about the top 10 invert. Let's quickly look through that as they get ready for their truncated formation lap for race number 2. Hilton Booth finished 10th. That means he starts from pole. Like I say, in this style of racing, is that a blessing or a curse? Our race winner just came from 13th on the grid. Anything is possible. He's going to be sharing that front row with Adam Hill-Motion. Behind them, Aaron Obersteller, Joshua Robertson, Braden Sagasar, and Aaron DeLuca to 6th. Tom Brown, Patrick Panton, Sam Batsy, and the winner, Thomas Leprake, now starts out of 10th. From there on back, it's how they finished race number 1, which is going to be a little punishing potentially for Gagliardi. We saw how much that 55-second penalty dropped him down the order. I think if you start inside of the top half of the field and you're smart, you're still a chance. This is a longer race now, but we saw how many multi-car incidents there ended up being. If you're mid-pack or back, I think you're just a greater probability of getting tangled in that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. We always see the inverts seem to always throw the cat amongst the pigeons, but surely everyone's going to behave. We had a good lap 1 here. It is also a longer race, so the drivers will have that in mind. So 20 minutes, you really want to try and keep it together maybe a little bit more. You can sometimes get a little bit tense there.
I think there was a cat amongst the pigeons in race number 1. I think we've thrown chips amongst the seagulls.
I'm trying to work a quick Mazda reference in there. What's a Japanese animal that loves food? They all love food. Throwing something in front of a Pokemon.
Do you know what? The racing gods are going to put you and the rest of us out of our misery right now because it's a green flag out. The engines are sky active right now as they rev their way up. And, already it's happening. Ian Jordan, who's he tangled with? And they're going to come back up onto the racing line and they just get missed. There's 2 cars off on the outside of turn number 1. It has happened immediately. Simon Dwyer, Ian Jordan, not quite picking up what other cars we got. Patrick Panton, it's one of them. My goodness. Hey, that traffic cone is going to go for a great tour of the speedway as well. Got to look up front, though. That's where the action is on this opening lap, and indeed probably the rest of the laps. Adam Hill Motion leading them at the minute from Hilton Booth, Joshua Robertson, Braden Sagasar. Ken O'Hara has gone around at the first horseshoe, so they're claiming victims a little earlier in this second race than they waited to get the popcorn popping in race number 1.
Looks amazing there with those lights ablaze. You can just see those motorhomes there on the inside. It's Daytona
RVs, you know that.
Plenty of RVs. That is right. Car there, 911, all the way to the outside there. So I think it's Gallagher, Gallagher there, pushed all the way out. You can just see everyone still managing to keep it all together all the way down. You see Graham Filan there right in the mix in that green mowing car there. So elbows are already out. It is lap 1 there. They really need the dudes to maybe come down a bit there. 18 minutes left on the clock.
So Braden Sagasar, he's come from 5th on the grid to lead them into the bus stop on the first lap. He looks pretty confident. He's picked up a tidy little line and he'll get out of there cleanly. Not everyone will, though. I hear a bit of door banging. I see Jake Jackson in the wall. And he's not alone because the number 1 car, Jackson Bowden, also in there. So there's a wall of champions at Montreal. That's the wall of Jackson.
Yeah, we're starting to see quite a lot of MX-5 paint here on the wall. They're probably going to have to come around with a little bit of Daytona white maybe later on tonight to patch up all the marks that have been left on there. Oh, gee, you can just see these 4. You know it's all going to come apart there when they start getting so close to that yellow line there, because as you can see, that banking does look very flat here on our cameras, though, that is really steep, and if they start rolling up and down it, super wide there. We've just had another car. That's, I think, another 2 cars behind there. We've just had another off as well, and it's a blind corner, so it makes it really difficult for the cars in behind to be Nick Botchell there, though.
Delta Wing remembers how blind turn 1 is. But yeah, 4 or 5, I'd say 5 cars tangled in another turn 1 incident. It is the funnel point from on the big wide banking, high speed, down into a narrower corner. Less grip as you drop away. And a 2-car incident becomes a 3-car incident. They become like dominoes in this pack racing. Once the incident becomes more than a couple of cars, it becomes a big, almost unavoidable clump. You've got a top 7 breakaway at the minute. You see them in shot, then just a little bit of fresh air to Hamish Munro and Tom Brown. Talk about some big movers, though. Hamish Munro has snuck his way through the incidents to be +9 positions. John Nikolaev was maybe functionally a retirement out of race number 1. So he started DFL in this one. He's up to 12th, +14 positions. It has been 1.5 laps.
Yeah, absolutely. And even in that first race, you could just see you can be right up the front there and only have about 1.5 minutes to go, and it can all come unstuck so quickly. So you wouldn't think a 10-minute, 20-minute lap race, any consistency would really be required, but you really need to keep an eye on what you're doing there. Gee, these two are already going for the bump trough. We did see how badly it can go wrong, whether or not there was any penalties dished out there in that sprint race at the start.
Yeah, in this modern era, it's all about how you bump and when you bump to not get in trouble. Top 7 still leading the way, despite the best efforts of Hamish Munro and Tom Brown together. They didn't catch this leading group. How about the move from the 41? Aaron Obersteller goes through to the lead of the race because Sagasar goes wide. Robertson did not appear to expect to get dive bombed. He's going to try to cut back. They're going to go side by side through the kink. Can you do that in these cars? We're about to find out. Somehow, yes. Robertson wants to stay to the right-hand side. He knows it's the inside of the second horseshoe, and he's just going to help Obersteller out a little bit wide. Squaring off a good exit, picking up the throttle early, Braden Sagasar and Thomas LePrake. He's come from 10th. He's up into 4th. He's looking at a podium spot already.
Yeah, absolutely. So, oh, gee, it's all four wheels off the track there. I can't remember if that is a slowdown in that part, but I'm sure we'll
I think you can
see.
go wide.
Oh, you can go right. We actually, just hearing from our producer Jay there, we have at 11.2 litre fuel restriction, so it's barely the jerry can when you do your lawns in your mower. So we are expecting to potentially see a pit stop here, so it is going to blow the field out a little bit. You can see it all the way down. I think that is down to about 8th position there. Adam Hill Motion there pulling up the rear. Aaron Obersteller and Nick Bottrell there right up the front. So, sorry, Aaron Obersteller there and Joshua Robertson. So almost down to 12th place now. So we've got a lot of cars still in this mix here. Who's going to potentially go for the pit stop early and try and maybe push for an overlap?
Gosh, I wouldn't want to. Super Speedway rules, I wouldn't want to go alone without a drafting buddy. I wouldn't look to pit early. You're just going to find traffic. And yeah, I'm not sure. 3 wide, squeezes on, and Sagasar looks to go around the outside, try to rotate the car in. All of them appear to push just a little bit wide. Still 7 for this group. It's getting more complicated behind, though. John Nicolaife and John Gagliardi, absolute hot knives through butter. Nicolaife now up 17 positions. And Nicolaife now up 18 positions. And John Gagliardi's up a bunch to 11 or 12, depending on when you measure where they are in this group of 4 cars. Another couple of drivers behind, Patrick Panton, Graham Filand, and Ashley DeVries, I think. Nope, someone who's a lap down. So Nick Bottrell. Uh-oh, that's a black flag.
There we go. So we've actually seen quite a few black flags here handed out. I think it was Luke. Was it Nick Bottrell there also in the last lap, in the last race as well? So his luck is, whether or not if it's luck or potentially pushed on by himself. Gee, these top 3 are just so quick. They're only about a 1/10 of a second. So we just see Thomas Laprick just out of shot. So he's about 8/10 behind, but you'll see that will fall as he pulls that draft in from these top 3. They're all going to try and get the position that they want. Try and get through the bus stop nice and cleanly. Thankfully, these cars are quite small, so they do fit around the big wide Daytona track.
Yeah, anyone of an above average height will vouch for these cars are quite small. I saw a big lift on the way into the bus stop from Braden Sagasar, so I wonder if he's shifted to thinking a little bit of strategy. What's happening here? Also staying in line, Leprake, it's Hayden Jackson who's going up and wide. Is his MX-5 here painted the same as his 86?
Yeah, potentially. So we did see. That's a very it's a very brave move there. Just drifting to the outside. Like I think that was Leprake that did do that. It's pushed him all the way down to 4th. But gee, these
Couple pit stoppers right now. Patrick Panton, Ashley DeVries. Any others? Nope. Just those 2. Nick Bottrell's back in. We knew he had the black flag. Oh, did DeVries pick one up as well? Was that speeding on the pit lane? Did we see that? So this might be a long pit stop there for DeVries. Is it 40 seconds? It's you don't want to do it. You just don't want to be caught speeding on pit lane. It's a double demerit point weekend.
absolutely is. We're almost a good reference to the Melbourne Cup weekend here for us Victorians. I'm not too sure if they've got all the way up in Queensland there, Dave. Robertson though, Joshua Robertson getting that nice inside line though. He's going to be having to push the rest of the cars there through the air. Tom Brown there, car 69 from Supernova. Bit of a spin there in the middle of there, so he's all the way down. Actually can't find him on the timing sheet. About 15th. Oh, 12th place, so.
Well, it's getting hot again up front. This is the lead of the race. Oh, contact over Stella is going to spin around. How did they avoid him? Is he going to keep it out of the wall? He's not. It goes in square and rearward, so all the suspension should hopefully be okay for Oberstella. Just every time we see them just so bunched up by the slipstream, right as they approach that braking zone for the bus stop, someone has got to give, and Oberstella's got the hit to the door, and he's come off the worse for it. Is anyone going to pit from this group? No. Fair enough. I'm actually surprised if Oberstella doesn't. Yeah, that definitely looks it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you just see hard on the brakes. So that is one thing to note about Daytona. It's almost the fastest part of the circuit there. Blends into the start-finish line, so you've got to be super careful not to get busted in speeding in pit lane. That's a good way to save up a lot of time, though, if you've nailed that braking sector. We do see a lot of cars brake a little bit early there. Gee, this action around the inside of the track. Elbows definitely out. It could be anyone's game between these top four.
Do you have a sneaking feeling it could be Thomas Leprake's game again? Just maybe. There's a couple more cars that have come onto pit lane. So Tom Brown, Sam Batty, Ian Jordan, Ken O'Hara. It's becoming the popular thing to do. And all of them are taking, plus or minus a little bit, about 10 seconds of fuel. Is what it looks like. So they're all done. Tom Brown, we saw him around in the infield. He's been caught speeding on pit lane after his pit box, and I think that's going to force him to come back around for a drive-through in that situation.
Yeah, well, as you can say, we're literally just talking about it, and it just can happen so easily.
All right, so what's going to happen with the leaders this lap around? Are they going to have to pit? Who is going to pit? How are they going to pit? It's going to be a mess as they all come down onto the road as well, potentially. Hayden Jackson is leading the way. Thomas Leprake and Joshua Robertson in tow. The other guys have dropped a little bit further back. Adam Hillmotion, Milton Booth, John Nicolay, and Braden Sagasar has had a mighty scruffy lap, losing 4 seconds or something somewhere. They're not looking like they're heading for the pit lane up front. And Leprake has got that massive overspeed. Looking to go around for the lead. 3 wide. Nicolay, Milton Booth, Adam Hillmotion. John Nicolay splits the middle of them there. He is now running 4th from 26 on the grid. Here comes Graham Filan and Hamish Monroe to their pit.
Yeah, absolutely. So it has really added such an element of strategy to what everyone is doing. So surely it's this lap that they're going to have to come in, or they could hang themselves out high and dry. I can't remember if they can pit on the very last lap there. Might have been a bit of a bump there from, I think it was Hayden Jackson there in the back of Thomas Leprake. So, he's just left the door ever so slightly open, but does cut back down there. It's a really big sweeping bend here in these MX-5s.
You know, I'm just noticing that the black and yellow pattern is actually doing its actual job on the driver's door, because it makes visible a dent in the door that you otherwise wouldn't notice in an all white paint. It's like that's actually what it's meant for. Show up where the crumple and the dent is. Okay, to the bus stop. They're side by side for the lead. Precious little time left in this race. Is this an in-lap for the leaders?
Yeah, you can just see throwing it left, throwing it right. You can just see Leprake back on there. So surely if this was like the final bend on the final lap, he'd be well and truly in the box seat. You just see
John Nicolay came from the very back of the grid. He's looking to try to steal the lead here. John Nicolay, what are you up to in this one? What is the rest of them doing? Whoa, I was going to say it looks like they're staying out, but Hayden Jackson dives to the pit lane, leaves the other 3 out, and I think it's got to do with the traffic they were catching, which is someone, Jackson Bowden, maybe? I think he might have been worried about if they're going to catch Bowden on this lap. So Joshua Robertson scored your leader. John Nicolay, 24 positions gained. How about it? A couple more to the lane. John Gagliardi, one of them.
Yeah, John Gagliardi all the way into the pits now as well. You just see what a great, seems to be the big overtaking corner there, as displayed there by John Nikoloff. So he's just trying. He might have not got that momentum there at the other end though. You just see there, Thomas Lepreek seems to be just pushing so hard there into
Long
the corners.
stop for Hayden Jackson. So I think going early isn't working out for him. Much longer stop than we would expected. There goes Patrick Panton, who pitted way early in this one, and he's going to be 4 or 5 seconds behind him. So for Hayden Jackson, I think a little bit of a disaster there. I think he's unfortunately out of contention for the win here, unless this group that haven't pitted yet all throw each other off the road. Side by side for the lead. No, it's not. Joshua Robertson's just in front of them. That's second and third. Lepreek's trying to go around the... Nope. Here we go. John Nicolay is trying to go around the outside of Thomas Lepreek on the way down towards the bus stop. They still haven't caught Jackson Bowden on this one. Oh, that's a shortcut for Nicolay. He's made a dog's breakfast of the bus stop. He's going to have to slow down and give up the time gained. And he can't give that up in pit lane anymore. They fixed that up. You've got to have cleared it before you hit the pit lane as well. So he might just get away with that one. What are they all doing? It's 2 laps to go right now. Who does what? Everyone looking for the lane? Yes. Is there an exception? The exception is Braden Sagasar.
Yeah, I think Sagasar's all the way up there as well. To be honest, I reckon Adam Hill Motion potentially might have been the one that's just picked his way through the pack.
He might have this. I'm seeing that the race has gone 1 lap shorter. Did you see Barney throw the white flag? I think the white flag got thrown as they all slowed down coming to pit entry on what should have been 2 laps to go. They all came in, slowed down. Yeah, there we go. That is a white flag. It is the last lap. Braden Sagasar need only clutch it, coast it, and get out and push to take a win here. I need the onboard. We need the onboard. What is he doing? Or maybe not.
Quickly scrolling through the cameras there. Onboard here at the moment.
He's doing it. He's doing the works. He's clutching it in. He's lifting it from meters and postcodes back. But he has 28 seconds to Thomas Lepreek. So put it in 6th. Give it a quarter throttle. You might have a race win here, my friend.
Yeah, it's going to be a really hard one to pick. Should actually just have a bit of a look at the speed difference at the moment. So Sagasar there.
This is actually going to be very informative because you've got Jackson Bowden, who has stopped and fueled just behind him, doing conventional race pace. Is he going to get to unlap himself? Question. And if he does that put him in trouble having to do an extra lap on the fuel? We wait and see, but from here, he's navigated the bus stop. If the engine died now, I think Sagasar still wins this. He's half a minute ahead of everyone else who's just been through to splash on the fuel. Sorry, no, he navigates. Sorry, he navigates the bus stop now. Thomas Lepreek, that's how much further back he is. How close was it in race number 1? It's not going to be that close in race number 2. Bowden does get his lap back. Sagasar is up in 6th gear at 5,000 RPM. It doesn't matter. He takes the win. Very, very bold. I swear I said he was saving aggressively early on.
Yeah, You can even see that last lap was still a 2-minute 19, so it was not really that absurd of a slow lap, because even I was watching that time.
This is second. Thomas Leprake, the wizard of race number 1, has now been on the other end of the magic wand, because Hilton Booth has pipped him by, faster than you can blink. Another great little photo finish here. Hayden Jackson, Adam Hill Motion, Graham Filand. Looks like Filand has picked that by 0.02 of a second. Fireworks are going off, and they are in celebration of the feather underneath Braden Sagasar's right foot.
Yeah, absolutely. Just see the.
Hey, I was in Florida for 4th of July this year. This is what they do. This is just a bunch of American bogans who've been down at the fireworks roadside stall.
Absolutely. You can only buy fireworks for 2 days a year, if my memory serves correctly.
It's a state by state, maybe even county by county thing. They around Orlando, it sounds like where there's a will, there's a way. 365, 24/7. So let's look at that results sheet then. Braden Sagasar, what a margin. In the end, 24.5 seconds. So he did give up about 5 seconds fuel saving right at the end there. But yeah, fantastic strategy. Backed himself in, saved when no one else thought they could. So Hilton Booth, second. Thomas Leprake, I still think your round MVP with a great performance in race number 1 and a podium there in race number 2. John Nikolaev, though, giving him a run for his money. Nikolaev came from 26th on the grid, which was dead last, and he contended for that win, and he finished 4th. Fantastic recovery drive. Let's flick through the remainder of them there. Patrick Panton, Hayden Jackson, Graham Filand, Adam Hill Motion, Aaron Obersteller, and Hamish Munro as the top 10. John Gagliardi from deep in the field to 11th. Sam Batty, Joshua Robertson, Ian Jordan, Simon Dwyer, Ben Pollock, Jack Anderson, Ashley DeVries, Tom Brown, Aaron DeLuca, and then Jackson Bowden, who got himself a sneaky little lap back, I'm pretty sure. Oh yeah, he might have been 2 laps down, and then he ends up 1 lap down. Still ahead of Nick Bottrell and Ken O'Hara, and then your retirement, Stephen Gallagher, Jake Jackson, and Jake Buxton. That was pretty exciting.
What a run there, David. Yeah, what a strategy to absolutely, set themselves apart in that way, going that absolute distance. So maybe some practice on that fuel strategy has really worked out.
Well, the racing is not done. In fact, it's only just getting started for round 3 of the simrigs.com Oz Pro-Am Sim Series. Brought to you by all you see on screen. Simrigs.com, Ferguson Group Media, Echuca Toyota, Phoenix Smokers, Australian Sim Racing, and a little bit of Index Designs as well. Because the Pro-Am fellas are up next. They are not far away, so stick with us on SimSpeed TV. We look forward to bringing you more action under lights from Daytona Road Course.
like it. I love it. Yeah.
Now when you go pre-owned, you can enjoy the same feeling you get with a new Toyota. Tested and backed by Toyota.
Upgrade your car, mate.
This? Yeah, no big deal.
Toyota certified. Pre-owned in a class of its own. Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.
Here we are, back under lights at, what do they call themselves at Daytona International Speedway? They're not the National Park of Speed. They're not the World Center of... Are they the World Center of Motorsport? Oh, they're the World Center of Racing, according to the sign atop the media center. And they behave like it. It's ready and time for Pro-Am Sim Series. Our Pro and Am divisions are about to go racing. The Carnage ratchets up another notch because they go multi-class. Cadillac CTS-V with that global Mazda MX-5 championship standings amongst the pros. Dylan O'Shea is ahead of Brad Watson, Marcus Watson, Lachlan Capel, Adam Funslow, Daniel Yeaman needs to pull his finger out. Aaron Cooper's in 7th, Christopher Henn, Ross Rizzo, and Alex Court. The top 10 amongst the pro drivers. There's also the AM division. You can kind of think of Pass 2 as Div 3. We just read you the points of Div 1. This is the second division. It's led by Gustavo Cirillo from Stephen Tonkin, Jeffrey Wang, Glenn Sato Riddle, Timothy Harris, Jordan Ferguson, Brady Buchanan, Sam Lehman, Tony Baker, and Tom Wilkinson. Well, we've got another 2 races coming up, and unlike with Mazda MX-5, where fuel was only an issue for everyone but one person in race number 2, this Cadillac CTS-V race car has got a 6.2 litre V8. I'm pretty sure does it have a supercharger on it? I think it does. It's got 460 horsepower, so it is thirsty with its 6-speed sequential gearbox as well. They might even need to conserve their fuel in the 10-minute sprint race. 15-minute is sprint race. And then, of course, fuel strategy on for young and old, as they like to say. That is Mark Scaife in the race number 2. So it is free content, as it says, iRacing based content, the Cadillac CTS-V. David Haynes here with Nick Skriev, and Jay Kennedy is producing for us. Did you know, Nick, that one of the teams I drove for, the Cadillac team, that guy bought the Cadillac, put it together because he was so inspired by this Cadillac CTS-V in what was then Pirelli World Challenge.
Yeah, excellent. I imagine, so the tracks that you took it on, it was in a production car race. What type of cars was it really competitive against?
Who are we racing? There was a lot of Honda sort of things around. I definitely had a really good back and forth at one point with a Focus equivalent to an ST, I think. Yeah, that was definitely the best racing I had back and forth with that. Oh, no, there was also someone with like a Datsun 1600. That thing weighs nothing. So that was some of the racing I had. You can see on our timing column, as qualifying's about to wrap up here in Pro-Am, the green number panels are our pros, and the blue is the AMs. Not to be confused with the Cadillacs and the MX-5s. Obviously, our top 14 there look like Cadillac 460 horsepower times, and then 12 seconds behind that looks a lot more like MX-5 times. So it looks like this: Lachlan Capel on the pole in the Cadillacs alongside Ross Rizzo. Hey, this could be a fuel strategy race, and Ross Rizzo starting second. Sebastian Flock and Brandon Groch are the next row. So for the AM driver in the 22, that is not a bad starting position whatsoever. Behind them, Adam Funslow and Alex Court. behind them, Christopher Henn, Ben Faulkner, Matthew Johnson, Daniel Yeaman, Tim Harris, and Harry Lawrence, still MX-5, still CTSVs there. Tyson Broad, Richard Brookfield, the last of them before the lap times decidedly start looking Mazda, and in fact, the logo appears on the graphic. For Dylan O'Shea and Tim Auty, who are the two fastest drivers in those cars, from Tom Wilkinson and Stephen Tonkin, the AM drivers getting a good showing there on the second row in that machine. Joshua Fitt, Jeffrey Wang, Kobe Williams, Aaron Cooper, Marcus Watson, and Luke Fitt takes us back to that row 12. Brady Buchanan, Brad Watson, John Merritt, Chu Kang, Tyson Hamner, Ben Jeffrey. Again, a name the same as someone I went to high school with, but not the same person. Jordan Ferguson, Glenn Riddle, Derek Audie, Phil Audie, Adam Jepson. That's all of our qualified cars. Do you know what? This looks a little bit like a Punnett Square, Nick, because we've got pro drivers and AM drivers, and we've got Cadillacs and MX-5s, and it's like a 2x2 grid. There are pros and AMs on one axis, and Cadillacs and MX-5s on the other axis, and it's all jumbled up.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is Sebastian Flock there on our webcam at the moment. So cool to see quite a few names. Some very few, sorry, some few familiar names there. Marcus Watson as well. There, I think hopefully he'll be able to see by the end of the night there. He's very big bright light there out in front, so he'll be looking for a good result here tonight there, Dave.
Sure will. What a great noise these Cadillacs make. They're rolling around on the pace lap, and they're going to roar into life. A whole heap of horsepower. Practically a GT3 specification car before GM, took a decade and a half to pull their finger out and actually homologate a customer GT3 car. I don't know. Don't know what's in the water in Detroit. We know what's in the water in Flint, Michigan, though.
And not great things.
No, it's not raising the average IQ. So they have left a lot of space to the Porsche pace car. The headlights flash now in the Cadillac. Great advancements have been made on the iRacing service since I last drove this car. They are waiting, and they are waiting. Timer hasn't started yet until the green flag waves. And now the green flag waves, we get racing. Traction control, ABS, etc. on these caddies. Immediately 3 wide in the background. Lachlan Capel going to try to lead them away. Oh dear, you've got to hold your breath. Again, these cars squirrel a little bit, especially early on the cold tyres. It's 3 wide in the MX-5s and you brace for carnage. The first carnage is Brandon Groch. What a great qualifying performance from the AM driver in the Cadillacs, but he's immediately off into the infield. Oh! Matt Johnson getting squirrely. Again, relatively outdated traction control on those Cadillacs does like to give you enough rope.
Well, we're just seeing here the MX-5s a little bit further down. They're all going to be absolutely barreling into the back there. I think that is Christopher Henn, though. He's going to have a bit of a chance. Gee, I think we did see a car there all the way off on that shorter section as well. Yeah, so we're going to see probably not too much of a problem here earlier on, but we're going to see all these MX-5s are going to be essentially sitting ducks there with the speed differences between the Cadillac. So they're Lachlan Capel, though, out in front here at the moment as they come through that bus stop complex.
I'm looking several places at once and not all of them are as pretty as Hello Kitty. Brandon Groch has had an issue and actually removed one of the MX-5s. Here comes a Cadillac barreling into the MX-5 field, going to split them as they come through the bus stop. And we can see that MX-5 through the bus stop capable of causing their own troubles without Cadillac assistance. It's 3 wide for the MX-5 lead, and that sits between Tim Audi, Joshua Fitt, and Kobe Williams, I think, but immediately the bump draft comes into effect. Choo, choo, choo is the train. Look at the Cadillac up high. Gonna try to zip past. It is at warp speed compared to our MX-5s. I'll tell you what kind of warp speed. The fastest VMAX I've seen out of Cadillacs so far. 307 kilometers an hour compared to about 210 for these MX-5s. That is the sound of Nick Skaryev holding his breath as the MX-5s inevitably cause a little bit of grief in turn number 1. Brad Watson being turned around. And who else? There, Phil Orty. They were pretty high up in their class. Over in the Cadillacs, Lachlan Capel leading the way. Ross Rizzo is in his slipstream. I'm stroking the very short hairs on my chin right now. And then Ben Faulkner, Sebastian Flock, and Adam Funslow. With the kind of performance, the kind of speed they've got, they don't slipstream as heavily as those MX-5s do. So there's a little bit more spread out in the Cadillacs, but still at the speeds and the banking of Daytona. The draft has got to be worth something.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry about that. Just having to see all my computer had just frozen up. So we've got, as we've seen there, Capable to Ross Rizzo. Those two are just so strong, you'd have to say.
Have you been clicking too many ads trying to find hot mature singles?
I think it's just my computer. I've just had to add a little bit extra steam, though. It hasn't seen too much iRacing action here lately.
Those cobwebs might need some dusting off.
Yeah, I need one of those little cans of compressed air, I think, or something like that to maybe get it all happening.
I'd click if the mature singles was cheese. Jay finally got the joke. Brake rotors glowing in the dark as these big, heavy Cadillacs lean on their ABS through the infield. I think Funslow also rocking a little bit of the Hello Kitty. He is on board from Sebastian Flock. He's got just a couple car lengths to how closely packed the 3 are in front of him. There is a look at Seb. I think he was at the bend earlier today? Is that what the pass is? Giant MX-5 crash. We've had the car park again at the exit of turn number 1. That seems to be the danger zone from these guys. It's still going. We cut here live and it's still going. Oh dear.
No,
is that gonna? Oh, it's not gonna land on its wheels again for Derek Audi.
No, and we've just seen, I think, another Cadillac there in the mix of these MX-5s and have to pick their way through. It's probably the smart. Oh no, that is. Yeah, I was just about to say the smart money would be waiting until you get to the banking where the track winds up a little bit, and then spend some proper time and work a way around though. But we do have, I think he's all the way into the back there is Stephen Tompkin, so trying to find a way around the back of that Castrol MX-5. Don't want to get too impatient there. It's Alex Court though. We did see that the Cadillacs were given such a short fuel strategy, so we'll probably see most, if not all. I think Alex Court is our leading pitting Cadillac here at the moment. And we actually seen, I think Lachlan Capel might be getting close to coming in as well. So we'll see if at least our top 5 all the way down to Adam Funslow and the Cadillacs come into the pits.
So this is your lead pack of the MX-5s. Oh, throwing it out wide. Joshua Fitt. When they're so closely packed like this, I actually struggle to look at my timing sheet and pick out who is who and where when they're changing so quickly. But Timothy Audi still holds on to that lead. He got through cleanly. It was the second place Joshua Fitt who just missed the line, found a little bit of the grass. And we'll probably get back into this and not lose out too much. So the MX-5s are going to have no troubles with the fuel. There is a bump happening on the high line that might almost get them around to contend for the lead. Yeah, it it will push Kobe Williams to go around the outside, wipe the nose, I heard, of whichever Audi that was, Tim Audi.
Yeah, we're going to say the Audi's having all kinds of issues, obviously, with that, pretty much that rollover on the lap before. So, and it's almost a Cadillac car park here at Daytona. So we are seeing, I think that is, if not most of the pack in front have all come into the pits. I think that is Lachlan Capel all the way down to Daniel Yeaman. So we'll see. I think that is, about 5 cars in the pits at the moment. We'll see. I'm sure that's going to extend all the way out to about 10 or so.
One thing we really should have talked about in Pass 2 is how much more punishing a run through pit lane is today. Oh, someone's looped it. How much more punishing the run through the pit lane is now that you've got to be at the speed limiter all the way around the hairpin and all the way there. Sebastian Flock, hang your head in shame, my man. What have you done? He's even redder than he was at the start.
Yeah, you can see, doesn't look too angry. I think he might have just said something in between his lips there. Maybe it wasn't too good that we heard what was said. Bit of a scratch on the head. We're definitely scratching our heads, wondering what is going on there. Another
John
MX-5
Merritt around. He tags one. He gets tagged by a second. He gets spun like a top, and that is very sad looking Mazda. That's headed for a scrap heap after this. So the leading pack of the MX-5s, again, a gaggle coming into the bus stop, and it's, he just gets a little tap. He's loose in the middle. He gets one, and then he gets hit by another, and that is, ouch, spun like a top.
Yeah, did manage to get it pointing the right way though, so potentially, I'm not too sure if there is a fast repair here for the pits, but he's going to be obviously coming in. Oh, there's a Cadillac trying to work out which side he's going to go around.
That's the pit lane speed limiter engaged that makes the headlights go flashy, 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 flashy for our Cadillacs. There is a handful of them on the lane. You are not missing them. It's Hello Kitty, You So Pretty party on the pit lane for them, and it is a really super quick splash of fuel. They get GT3 style fuel rigs for these cars as well, so it goes in a lot quicker than it does for some other cars that raced in Class E or Optima in that championship. Sorry, not confusingly. Right on brand. Ross Rizzo and Ben Faulkner are yet to pit. Now there is still 3 more laps to go. Almost everyone else is pitted, so I'm not sure they're pulling a Braden Sagasar in this one. Although, they do have 27 seconds to the rest of the field. If you thought you could save a lot of fuel by giving up 3 or 4 seconds a lap, it's still a viable strategy in a race like this. It is a big old pit lane. You've got everything in the tri-oval, plus the tail around into the road course. They're still doing pretty close to race pace, Rizzo and Faulkner, in the mid 46s, which is only about a second off the fastest lap of the race, so it's about on brand.
Well, as we're just seeing, big group there as we see 2 more Cadillacs come in there. I think that is
the last 2 Cadillacs, from the lead, Rizzo and Faulkner.
Yeah, so we'll see whether or not that strategy of hanging it out is going to pay off.
MX-5s 3 wide for their lead. What do you think about the bump? Here comes another Cadillac. Here comes another Cadillac. And it's Tim Audi back to the lead in class. They form a little bit of a rolling roadblock. Some of the Cadillacs approach. I think one of the Cadillacs is, flashing the headlights, but still on you to try to wait to this big dive down the inside on your leading MX-5. Holds them out wide in the horseshoe. Kobe Williams tries to chop back in on that.
It's great seeing that is our leading caddy there. I think that is Ross Rizzo. So that strategy of holding it out just that extra lap has seemed to have really paid off. Only got 3 minutes left on the clock though. Oh no! Everyone just keeping it at an elbow's length. So that caddy was going to go to the left-hand side there, but decided against it. So those two getting around, and you can imagine Cadillac there with that really stiff race-style suspension there. You really can't bounce from that infield out onto the banking too roughly, or it could absolutely send you into a spin. But thankfully, I think 3 or 4 of them are well and truly clear of this MX-5 group.
The overcuts worked really, really well for Ross Rizzo and Lachlan Capel because everyone else kind of lapped the MX-5s. Pitt had to lap them again. By running a lap longer, I think Rizzo and Ben Faulkner only had to lap him once. They saved themselves some of that. Lachlan Capel pitted just a little bit earlier, but he's in this as well, up there with Ross Rizzo. So Faulkner's pit stop was a little longer than it should have been, otherwise he'd be right there in a podium contention. MX-5 leaders is Marcus Watson to the front there. Kobe Williams just alongside him, I feel. Timothy Audi, always easy to spot in the simrigs.com mobile. And Joshua Fitt, Dylan O'Shea, Luke Fitt, all still amongst this group. We kind of missed that Kobe Williams was right at his driver's door for a couple of corners in a row there. And now he's still got his nose down the inside, approaching a very fast kink. Oh, they almost touch. They almost touch. It's so close amongst this group. Look at the concentration. Look at the mustache.
It really is one of the strongest mustaches here in this race. What of the brow, see just how much that pressure is on. He's feeling that Florida afternoon, evening heat. Oh, they always just seem to go every which way here in the MX-5s. They come around there. Rizzo in that hot seat. Surely it is going to be somewhere between Capel and Funslow. Not wanting to... Yeah. Oh, geez, we've got these two.
Jeez Louise, they've just taken the white flag for race number 1, and it is on. No invert, because it's a multi-class and iRacing can't quite handle that. So they're also battling for their qualifying for race number 2, coming up in a hot little minute as well. No invert, that's for the win, and that's for pole for race number 2 between Capel and Rizzo. Capel does have himself in front, and of course, everything that applies to the Cadillacs also applies to the Mazdas in that regard. Oh, the speed difference gets a little insane. Pressure is on Kobe Williams as Marcus Watson takes his speed and his momentum around the outside. They're about to take the white flag in this pack. Watson chops down to try to let himself defend the inside into turn number 1 if he wishes. Williams goes all the way up high. Oh, look at it come back underneath. Look at it almost touch Marcus Watson on the way in. I've seen that one. I've seen that move before. This for the overall lead. Capel's got it. Rizzo's in the slipstream, heading towards the bus stop. I think you want to be positioned 2 car lengths back coming off of this corner to slipstream to the line in the final drag race. Bit of a wiggle from Capel. Decent traction from Rizzo. Right where you want to be. Checkered flag waiting for them about a mile down the drag strip. Capel moves it up to the middle of the road. Rizzo follows him wherever he goes like a dance partner. He's got the speed. He's got the overspeed to the effect of 5, 6, 7 Ks an hour, but he's got to go the long way, and the line comes up in time for Lachlan Capel to hold him off. They've got to put the brakes on to not clear out the 4 MX-5s.
Yeah, those MX-5s are still going around the track there as well, so I think that is that Tim Ponti there in front, so in there with Kobe Williams and Brandon grow as well. So all 6 of them, all well bunched together there. Kobe Williams going to be that first MX-5. As we saw before, there is that chance to go the long way around. So all just trying to find a good position. Getting that momentum out of the bus stop here is absolutely crucial and key.
Let me channel my best horse racing caller for this one then. They are so close. We saw where Leprake came from to pull a smart one earlier. The bump is on. Watson on the outside cops it pretty bad from 4th place. Joshua Fitt, he's going to go up high. They are 4 wide. They are genuinely 4 wide here. And from 4th place, around the outside, Joshua Fitt steals that one from Watson, Williams, and yeah, someone. Great work. Great positioning. Joshua Fitt from 4th out of the bus stop, stealing the win there. That is absolutely sensational. Oh no! Oh no! Cut across the grass, son. The 777 has the short run. Tom Wilkinson will just hold off Stephen Tonkin.
We're seeing a few of our minor places come through here at the moment. I think that is Brady Buchanan there. All well and done here, Dave. I'll let you go through the standings. As we did. Oops, sorry about that.
No worries. I had the wrong window selected. Lachlan Capel pulls off the win in the Cadillac class, just ahead of Ross Rizzo. 36 thousandths of a second, if you don't mind. Adam Funslow then in 3rd. Ben Faulkner ran really well on the fuel to go long with Rizzo, but then maybe overfueled by about 4 seconds. Put him there into 4th. Tyson Broad, Daniel Yeaman, Alex Court, Tim Harris picking up the AM class win in the Cadillac class. That's how it works. Kind of we're racing with 4 classes really tonight. Richard Brookfield, Christopher Henn completing that top 10 amongst the Cadillacs.
We are switching to the other page there. Harry Lawrence, Sebastian Flock, Brandon Grow, Joshua Fitt, as we did see there, the first of our Mazdas, Marcus Watson, Kobe Williams there, Timothy Orty, Dylan O'Shea, Luke Fitt there as well, and Jordan Ferguson, our leading Mazda M in 20th place.
And Glenn Riddle, Brad Watson as a pro, Tom Wilkinson and Stephen Tonkin as AMs. We saw them touch coming to the checkered flag. John Merritt, Aaron Cooper, Tyson Hamner, Brady Buchanan, Phil Audie, Adam Jepson. There were some casualties amongst the Mazdas, no doubt, at several places, spinning off and door banging through the bus stop, through turn 1, seems to be one of the danger zones. Jeffrey Wang there, and then it's laps off for Ben Jeffrey, Chu Kang, Derek Audie, and pretty well a retirement for Matthew Johnson. We saw the damage that went to his Red Roo Cadillac. So as we wait for race number 2, let's take another look at our partners. Starting with, of course, title sponsor simrigs.com of the Oz Pro Am Sim Series, offering a large range of affordable and high-end racing simulator equipment for the beginner and pro alike. Australian-owned and operated product advice and warranty service. Single product or full turnkey rigs. Use the promo code OzProAm for a 5% discount at checkout. Echuca Toyota is a family-owned and operated business that understands purchasing and owning a vehicle is a unique and important experience for our guests. We are committed to the Toyota brand, holding the full vehicle range. This means that when you come to our dealership, you'll be able to view and test drive any Toyota that interests you. We also stock a diverse range of quality and certified pre-owned vehicles, each of which has been handpicked by us. For more, head to echucatoyota.com.au. Ferguson Group Media are a full-stack media company that work with SME businesses across website development, e-commerce, social media strategy, and execution. For information, head to fergusongroupmedia.com. Well, Nick, what do you feel we are going to see coming into the 25-minute race? We can now guarantee pit stops out of those Mazdas. No one is going to Sagasar an extra 5 minutes and change out of it in this one. And it'll definitely still be a real challenge and a real strategy juggle for those Cadillacs.
Yeah, absolutely. I think also now that we'll have that little bit extra time as well, we could potentially see the Cadillac, if that allows enough time for them to lap the MX-5s as well. And you can imagine just how much extra chaos it would add to that already chaotic field that we see. But we'll definitely find out roughly about a minute's time. We've got about 30 seconds here on the lap counter for our, I think this is like a half practice thing. There might be a couple of cars out on track just quickly, maybe for some last minute changes.
Yeah, you might need to tighten the screw loose in the driver's seat for a couple.
Yeah.
They're about
Sweet.
to click to the grid. The graphic is the grid, which of course is exactly as they finished race number 1. You can't really do, you can't do a classed invert. You can only do an invert of the overall standings, and it'd be weird to invert the Cadillacs and not the Mazdas. So it is as they finished. And that means your pole sitter in the Cadillacs is Lachlan Capel, and your pole sitter in the Mazdas is going to be Joshua Fitt. Though I'm getting the feeling that the pole to win rate around here in the slipstream is even worse than Charles Leclerc's.
Potentially we do have John Merritt there, Aaron Cooper, and then we did see our AMs of our Pro-Am Mazdas there, as we just quickly go through. Rounded up by Derek Orty and I think Matthew Johnston as well. So we're going to have a nice big field, 35 cars. I'm sure our Porsche safety car will be happy to get well and truly out of the way, because it'd be thundering down here with these Cadillacs. You're exactly right, that sound that they make is just awesome. Also look kind of cool too.
Yeah, I reckon some of the CTSVs are changing hands for some kind of weird money these days. I think one generation later than this, and the wagon people are crazy for, and yeah, certainly they don't feel unique if you're used to BMW M4s and Mercedes C63s, but in the world of American muscle, they are certainly a unique proposition.
That's right, and they really came in that modular styling. You can kind of get them in the coupe or the sedan or the wagon.
You had options. Well, they'd have sold more if they marketed it as you had freedom. But
Cadillac
can pay my invoice for that idea. we're away and racing. It's 25 minutes on the clock, means we're going to definitely see pit stops out of the Cadillacs. We're definitely going to see pit stops out of the MX-5s. Great start from Lachlan Capel. This car is always so twitchy on lap number 1. Oh, we've already got the first driver around. Ben Faulkner has been speared, but that knocks him out of the way right as the MX-5s appear. No class separation this time around. Joshua Fitt didn't see right to put a space between himself and the Cadillacs, and that almost shot him in the foot.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see that how just quickly the Cadillacs pull away, but obviously they've a lot shorter stopping distance with those big brakes. Oh, as we're just seeing a few cross each other up there. Cold tyres here at the moment. Of that car 40. Oh, Lachlan Capel though spat off to the inside, so potentially might have to try and go for an early pit strategy. Might not be able to pit this earlier on and make it home in one piece.
So what has happened to the pole sitter, the outright pole man, on his opening lap? Is he going to do it all by himself? He is going to be dirty about this. Through the kink, and then on the brakes. Oh, he's in too hot. He's in too hot. Then he's out wide. He cuts. Oh, he loses it. He just loses it out off wide, off the regular racing line. I told you, this traction control is up to no good.
Yeah, absolutely. So, gee, that is a really, really damaged Cadillac there of Harry Lawrence. So he's going to have to quickly try and limp it back to the pits as best he can.
Another cold tyre first lap mistake. This time it's in the bus stop for Harry Lawrence. We ride on board with what he did. Sensible line, gets a little bit of the curb, gets a lot of the curb. Whop, bang. That'll do it. And yeah, that's a lot of right hand down. He brings it to pit lane. Can he salvage something of this race? You really hope so.
Yeah, Meeple and 4 slowdowns, so lots of action there so far.
Oh, there's more from the MX-5s before they even got to turn 1. They're on their lid. Ben Jeffrey and drives just behind him now. Looks like he's parking it because it's done. They both went flipping from the banking down onto the racetrack. Something's gone awry. Oh, before they even get there.
That is a really, really
Adam Jepson, look at this ride. Flip. Oh. Plenty of walking wounded so far. Ross Rizzo leads the way outright, though. He started in that second place. Lachlan Capel gave it away on lap 1, but here comes his teammate, Daniel Yeaman, stalking, looking for the lead. How powerful is the slipstream? The answer is it's worth 2 more kilometers an hour right now. It's worth 3 more right now. It's worth 4. He's starting to reel it in. They reach a ridiculous straight line speed here, though. Daniel Yeaman hits the speed trap at 304 k's an hour. Behind them in 4th place, Richard Brookfield, triple toe, 307 k's an hour. These things are quicker in a straight line than an honest-to-goodness GT3 is these days.
Yeah, you can actually see that
wheel quicker in a straight line than an Olympic 2 is.
Yeah, you can actually see that wheel work there by Daniel Yeaman, just trying to pull it up into turn 1. There's just so much feedback through the suspension of the car, just cutting across that line there off the apron. 3 wide for these two. Marcus Watson, Kobe Williams, Timothy Orton, Joshua Fitt, and
danger,
Aaron Cooper
danger.
behind.
Oh, dear. See, there's an alternative world where the Cadillac picks and chooses who lives and who dies when they come across a roadblock like that. My word, it's the MX-5 leaders. Kobe Williams is going to do well out of that. Keeps it nice and tidy down at the apex of turn 1.
We've already seen a few of them come out of the pits. That might be, I think that might actually be a lap car that's kind of in that mix. So do have, I think that is Kobe Williams there, out in front of this group. Really want to see who chooses to go that pit stop first. These MX-5s definitely will not make it there on one tank.
Yeah, we know that for sure. I think that we still feel like they can go 18, 19 minutes into this race if the fuel is all as we saw earlier. So that makes a really wide strategy window. For the Cadillacs, we know they're not going to go deep. And then how far do they go after they refuel? Is this a 2-lap race for the Cadillacs? Poleman, Lachlan Capel, no damage really from his lap 1 adventuring. And so he's right back in it.
We're actually seeing cars almost all over the track there at the moment. He was just seeing Adam Funslow. You just see how quickly he's coming past those MX-5s and trying to get those positions back here at the moment. Yeah, we'll just see.
Life is fragile on the harsh Daytona bankings. There are many predators for the MX-5, but it has one crucial defense mechanism. There's like 30 of them. You can't punt all of them. Yeah, okay, good on the banking. Easily done. As one of the iLEC machines works its way past our leaders. Kobe Williams still leading those MX-5s. But for how long Watson has the nose in front, up the banking, goes the long way around. It's Tim Auty. And Fit right in touch. Oh, Kobe Williams gets loosened up. He's going to run a bit wide out there. And you know what? He queues up the radio to let him know about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So maybe just a few short stem words. Oh, gee, almost comes onto the grass there on the right-hand side. Well, it's really up the inside. So whether or not he's got the momentum to roll it out. So these two still side by side. You see Tim Auty there. So he's going to just have that momentum going almost a long way around that hairpin. See if there's going to be a bit of a move. You can just see the asphalt splits around a bit. It's a little bit bumpy. Oh, a bit of braking. Bit of braking halfway through. Keeping that boot in though, but it is going to come down onto that banking again.
That is a man with a sweaty forehead. But thank you for sharing your camera with us, giving us an insight into the work rate. The eyes dart around in a pack like that, don't they? He's looking out in front, probably looking at the fuel, looking in the mirrors, looking at the relative, every piece of information that lets you position yourself and try to strategize your way around here as well. What is Tom Wilkinson up to? Doesn't seem like it's anything good, no? Okay. He's got going on what we really need to set Thomas Hinz onto, which is blur the background. We don't need to see your laundry. It's Dan Yeaman, isn't it? He's in second place. He's still giving Ross Rizzo a bit of grief. They're bearing down on a whole bunch of more MX-5s as well. You've got to pick your lane so closely. Right behind them, a bunch of MX-5s getting split by Cadillacs heading to the pit lane. Cadillacs diving around wide MX-5s.
Oh, it is going to be tricky here. You can just see almost a wall of MX-5s up ahead through that tighter part of the circuit. We do have Alex Court though, choosing to take that pit here. So he's in 10th place. Have come back there to Ross Rizzo with Daniel Yeaman in tow. So it'll be up to Ross to kind of find where these gaps form it there. Good work there by the Mazdas, choosing to stay off to that left-hand side. So it's let through all those Cadillacs. So there will be a lap up. Oh, gee. One of the, I think that might have been Lachlan Capel there, running super wide. Actually hasn't lost too much time. So, oh, sorry, it was Tyson Broad. So
Too many bloody drop airs. You're forgiven.
Yeah.
So this is Cadillacs lapping MX-5s for the first time, and if it goes anything like last race, you're about to see a bunch of the Cadillacs pit and then have to do it all again in a lap or two. And that's where this strategy of running one lap longer, if you can, I think really pays off for the Cadillacs, because they are 20, 25 seconds a lap faster. If you go one lap longer, you save yourselves, you spare yourself this traffic again. So Rizzo and Yeaman, I think, are switched on to that now.
Yeah, and just confirming too from Jay, Alex Court is the first of our pitters there, so he'll be the one to watch, who's currently in that 10th place at the moment. As we did see, Richard Brookfield is in, Lachlan Capel is in as well. We've actually seen...
So watch this. Here they are, 5, 6 Cadillacs all on pit lane. Matthew Johnson coming as well. You're about to see all the MX-5 zip by, get their lap back, and it'll be rinse and repeat the next lap around as far as the traffic goes. This is why you've got 3 Cadillacs that have run one lap longer. It's Ross Rizzo, it's Daniel Yeaman, and it's Tyson Broad. And Tyson Broad's only 1.7 seconds away from the lead. So if he has a good stop, if he has a good in-lap and out-lap, he's right with him as well.
Yeah, you'd have to say maybe with Ross, Daniel and Tyson, maybe sticking it out that extra...
MX-5 car park, 3 wide in turn 1.
Yes, it's paid off a little bit. Hopefully they'll have enough
damage
to not be caught back.
So we're going to look. 45, Phil Orty. What has happened for him in the opening segment here? He's right in behind, that's got to be Squirtle. They both go so wide. Oh, and lean on each other. Then he straightens him out. Nice, but they're slow as all these other cars barrel in.
Yeah, we are going to jump on board there with John Merritt and kind of see.
We're going to try. Disregard that. Weren't able to pick up that camera as we hoped. So I think you're about to see Rizzo, Yeaman and Broad pit, your top 3. You know, if this was a single class race, I don't think there's that much advantage to running one lap longer. It's marginal. But with where the MX-5s fall and the relative pace, it's such an advantage to not need to lap them.
Yeah, absolutely. You could almost lose easily a second or a second and a half. Even these like in behind, so catching that MX-5 at that bus stop chicane. So already away for these 3. Should be clean air in front of these. You do see our car 44 there of Alex Court. So he was our car that pitted the first before everyone else, and he's absolutely walked away from everyone. And he's going to have that little bit extra temperature in the tyres.
So I think he's done the opposite. He's pitted just before catching the traffic. So he's gone and split the strategy, but in the opposite direction. So you've got the lap almost everyone pitted on, sees them forced to lap and then relap the MX-5s. Court's gone early and to only lap them once. Rizzo, Yeaman, Broad have gone long to only lap them once. The problem for Alex Court is that means he pitted after only 5 laps before the halfway point of the race. He's got to do 8 on this final stint. We just saw Rizzo and Yeaman do 7. So great strategy from Court as far as managing that traffic, managing the lapped cars, but he's in for a potentially very uphill battle managing the fuel on this back end stint. His last lap, a 1:48, 2.5 seconds off his best. It's a little bit on here as well, with Capel and Brookfield and Tyson Broad on his outlap. Oh, Capel might have a slowdown. The way the slipstream works, though, they tend to give them up very easily. Oh, you're about to get zonted here. Richard Brookfield, potentially. That's a dangerous place to be. You're a Hello Kitty between 2 drop bears. And I know the rules of the wild and the food chain.
how wide there. Tyson Broad tried to take that. Oh,
Broad by name, broad by nature.
Yeah. Yeah, and this group really has not let up there. I think that is Kobe Williams, Marcus Watson, Joshua Fit, and Aaron Cooper there. So they've gone for the fake. Yeah.
Mate, you're not just going to get fined. You're going to lose your license for that. He made the decision way too late, and it's going to cost him, and it's going to cost him big.
I can't lip read, but I
heard it.
That was
the sim. He cued the. He's going to have plenty of time to wipe the sweat off of that. He says, Kobe Williams, you tricked me. Well, I've got a bridge to sell you.
Yeah, that is a bit of a long draw to bow, I think, to try and throw Kobe out on the bus for that. But yeah, so he's going to be in there for a little bit longer. I think Kobe Williams is underway, so his pit strategy. His pit stop was about, just trying to pull it up here, I think about 20 seconds or so. So well underway there. All out on his own, actually. You'd have to say Tim Ortiz about 6 seconds or so behind. So yeah, Kobe Williams absolutely doing so well out of that pit stop strategy.
So Marcus Watson, yep, losing 40 seconds additional in that pit stop because of breaking the speed limit by what looked to be about 50, 60 kilometers an hour. It's lose your license, get your car impounded on territory. It's absolutely filthy about that one. He was very well represented in our pro points standings as well, but before this, wasn't he? Last couple of MX-5s coming to the lane is Joshua Fit and Aaron Cooper. Just got Glenn Cito-Riddle, Jordan Ferguson, and Derek Orty. They're all popping in. And the fact that these 5 drivers went 1 lap longer suggests to me that Marcus Watson probably could have stayed out if he didn't follow Williams. He tried to follow Williams' late pit call, and Williams had timed that one to perfection.
Seeing there, Kobe Williams, so clear of everyone, doesn't need the draft. Oh, Joshua Fit though is going to come out of the pit, so essentially a lap down. So
no, he just ran 1 lap longer.
Out in front. My apologies. Gee, and to think Kobe Williams
second time into the lane for Flock. Okay, he pitted after 6 laps. He just pitted after 4. Gosh, he's in real jeopardy, isn't he? Because it's twice he's got to try to navigate that pit exit in this race.
Getting a really
Court
nice GT feel here with the night racing and the multi-class. Just sets off Daytona just perfect.
All right. Out of pit lane. For Sebastian Flock. Twice through the lane. Is that going to be the dumb thing? Harry Lawrence and Adam Funslow and Christopher Henn have all done it as well.
I actually just noticed that paint job there on the horse racing there by Sebastian Flock.
Yeah. He's got his Hunts privileges. So, currently predicting 14-lap race. Rizzo and Yeaman and Tyson Broad, the only drivers who went 7 laps in the first stint. From the lead of the race, Alex caught in for a second stop. There is a chance that you see a handful of drivers, and by a handful I mean literally just the 3, make this a one-stop race. More Cadillacs, thirsty things that they are, getting a second helping from the buffet.
We see, gee, Kobe Williams, that is a bit of a time deficit. If you can maybe even try and cling to the back of that Cadillac, even just to get a marginal toe, the slightest.
Let's recap the state of play in the MX-5s then. Leading the way is this man, Joshua Fitt. He has 2 seconds on Kobe Williams. You can see very clearly when that machine arrives in the background. And then it's 5, 6, almost 7 seconds to Tim Auty and Dylan O'Shea. So Fitt and Williams, their particular strategies have worked out pretty well. And then another chunk of time to everyone else in the MX-5s. Look at this: Jeffrey Wang, John Merritt, Brady Buchanan, Phil Auty, Luke Fitt, Brad Watson, Jordan Ferguson, Glenn Cito, Riddle, Derek Auty, Chu Kang, all lumped together right here. Although Chu Kang is in a Cadillac trying to unlap himself. There he goes. Did I have that right? Someone's in a Cadillac. Matthew Johnson definitely went around them there as well. I think I saw that, the Red Room Racing machine. So it's interesting. You've got sort of 5 cars head and shoulders away from the rest of the field, and then the rest of them all absolutely clumped together. Here comes another handful of drivers for their second pit stop in the Cadillacs after making it 6 laps. Lachlan Cable, Richard Brookfield, Brandon Grotch. So it's definitely looking like the drivers who were able to eke 7 out of the first stint are looking very pretty.
Yeah, it's just so spread out on the track now as well. Even after you'd think 25 minutes it'd be all in pretty tight, but there's kind of cars any which way you go there.
I'm looking at it. Ross Rizzo needs the white flag this time. If he doesn't get the white flag, he's going to need a second stop. If it goes 1 lap longer than that, he's not going to have the fuel range in this second stint to make it all the way. So Rizzo is just heading towards the bus stop now. He's doing 146s. There's 146 left on the clock now. Really, by any sensible maths, should be the white flag this time. Should see Ross Rizzo, Daniel Yeaman and Tyson Broad complete this race in 2 7-lap stints with just the 1 stop. Your next car that's been through the lane twice is Alex Court. Again, he's right with Lachlan Capel. Nothing between those two, but they are 27 seconds off of the lead. You can see that on the timing column. What did Barney have in the air? He had his hands busy with the white flag. Confirmed final lap of the race. These are 2 stoppers. Lachlan Capel powering around the outside of Alex Court.
We have actually seen Tim Harris as well. I think he's done an extra lap on top of everyone else. So he has had to pit through, yeah.
Tim Harris has done 6 and 7, which has seen him fall 1 lap short. If he could have gone 7 at the start, he'd be in the same boat as Rizzo, Yeaman and Broad. Now your top 3. In the MX-5, Joshua Fitt has succumbed to Kobe Williams, who now leads. Someone has made a breakfast for dogs out of the bus stop. It's behind Wang, so it must have been Brad Watson. Oh, dramas for those MX-5s. Lachlan Capel and Alex Court in the fence. Alex Court coming off pretty bad from that. Brookfield arrives on the scene pretty hot as well. The magic smoke is rapidly leaving the Cadillac V8. What happened in the battle over probably 4th place? What was the kink? It's quick.
Oh, it's just what a tank slapper there. Like, yeah, clipping the grass on the outside and unsettled the car under brakes. So it was quick to get it back on track though, but
Fireworks are in the air, and they're for Daniel Yeaman, who pulls off the win from Ross Rizzo. I wonder if Rizzo had a little bit of fuel drama towards the end there. Really lost a chunk of time on the final lap. So too did Tyson Broad. Had to give up almost 5 seconds on the final lap. Yeaman's pretty pleased with himself, I reckon, because I think he snatched that one away. Lachlan Capel is still going to get 4th. Yeah, they had to get the camera out for that one. I reckon. Perfect timing from Daniel Yeaman. And he's probably feeling about how Thomas Leprake felt right at the start of the evening. Just that classic Daytona, position yourself for the run off of the bus stop, get in the slipstream, try to pip them before that timing line. It's a story about to repeat in the MX-5s. Kobe Williams leads Joshua Fitt up the track. Is he about to lead him down the track? You bet he is, in the battle for the lead. This is going to force Fitt around the outside. If Fitt could have gotten to the inside, you absolutely would have backed him. He's a whole car length ahead now. The line is still a while away, but I think Fitt in place to take the MX-5 win from Williams.
yeah, congratulations there. Oh, they're all going to cut some Florida hoops there to the fireworks. What a run. And then we're going to see all these MX-5s here spaced out coming. I think it was about Phil Orty there to Jeffrey Wang. So seeing a bunch come over the line.
There was 1 second to cover 6 cars. Phil Orty, Jeffrey Wang, Luke Fitt, Brad Watson, Jordan Ferguson, Chu Kang in that order. It was mighty close because they were a lap down to the overall leader. This final standings might not show it, but what it does show is, and we will get to it in a bit, Daniel Yeaman and Ross Rizzo in that classic drag race that needs the photo finish. Tyson Broad, he worked that strategy really well, likewise, to come from 5th on the grid to a podium there, and your 3 fuel-conserving drivers able to stand head and shoulders clear of the rest. And the rest is Lachlan Capel, Richard Brookfield, Sebastian Flock, Matthew Johnson, Brandon Grotch, Timothy Harris, Alex Court. What could have been for Court as well. The MX-5s can go too wide flat out through that kink. Does not seem like the Cadillacs can. Harry Lawrence and Adam Funslow, the last cars on the lead lap. Christopher Henn just off it. Joshua Fitt, Kobe Williams, Dylan O'Shea, Tim Orty. That's our leading cars in the Mazda category. We saw great work by Joshua Fitt in his battle, his duel toe-to-toe with Kobe Williams. Williams tried the snake, the different lines from the bus stop to the line, but it didn't save him. Brady Buchanan gets a Mazda AM class win from Phil Orty and Jeffrey Wang, and that is where the blanket could have covered 6 of them. Not that you need a blanket on a warm evening like this. It was Luke Fitt, Brad Watson, Jordan Ferguson, Derek Orty, Glenn Riddle, Chu Kang, Marcus Watson, John Merritt, Stephen Tonkin, Tom Wilkinson, and there's just a couple more. And they're Ben Jeffrey, Adam Jepson, Tyson Hamner, Aaron Cooper, and Ben Faulkner. Nick, let's take a look at that Cadillac victory. Tell us about it here.
We actually did just miss it though, but you see Daniel Yeaman there on the outside on that high line, just with that momentum too. You could just see stretching there. We're about bumper to bumper there, but you just see Ross Rizzo having that shorter line, but clear to see Daniel Yeaman almost culling had an MX-5.
I'd just like to say hello to our friends at iRacing editing this month's top 10. That's the closest you'll get to World Star from me. I was thinking, how is this 3,000th of a second? He doesn't know what to do about our dear friend Marcus Watson in the number 77 MX-5.
It'd be hard to know if Marcus Watson was expecting it.
We need 3 more angles. We really do. What a crazy finish. Let's, wow. Wow is about all you can say to that one. But there's some other people who can hopefully more eloquently string some words to paint it out. Dan Yeaman, how's the blood nose after that one?
Oh, it's completely obliterated. I just didn't think I had it there tonight. Ross had done a great job of managing the gap and the fuel numbers there in the second race. Just the mother of all luck there that we had 2 MX-5s at the bus stop. Sorry, it's the Le Mans chicane now, isn't it? Yes. So yeah, got extremely lucky with that. And then just coming around onto the front stretch, I'm like, okay, we got 1 car. As long as they go like nice and high up against the wall, we're fine. But they kind of held in the middle, and then I was just like, right, got to go high. They've drifted up high. I tried cranking the steering on. And lo and behold, at 300 kph, these cars don't particularly appreciate turning left. So I am sorry, Marcus, for absolutely running up the rear end there, but I hope you can appreciate that obviously you're going for the win there. I wasn't in a mindset to take the foot off the throttle and concede there to Ross on the inside.
Hey, Dan, join and take a look at the monitor because we're about to grab a replay of it, and I'm hoping you can talk us through that final couple hundred meters, your thought process. You've got the run, you've got the nose in front.
So basically this what I like ahead. I'm like, I've done it. I've timed it. I've got just enough of good fortune there and a good draft to pick it up. And I know we're closing in. So I'm sort of trying to stay up high there on the black stripe as we come into the tri-oval. But then the Mazda starts drifting up ever so slightly towards the wall. So I'm starting to realize that, okay, I've got to really crank this car down and turn left and really get down to Ross. So I think it's right about now because I'm trying to commit to the outside line even here still. Because I'm like, he's still middle of the road. Maybe I can squeeze around the outside. And he just starts drifting up. Oh, actually, the gap didn't feel like it was there. So I've panicked. I've tried turning left. I'm going, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it. Keep your foot in it anyways and pray. And for a second, I thought I'd lost because the timing didn't quite update. And then I ticked over and I've hung on there despite driving up the back of Marcus there by the skin of my teeth.
You are going to need to put him on the Christmas card list as well because you didn't lap the poor fella. He still had a lap to go after that one. But to be fair, because any other MX-5s behind him or behind you took the checkered flag, he wouldn't be able to lose any positions after that. But I mean, as unbelievable a finish as you ever see, you do come away with that win. And we got to talk about what led up to that because the caddy sure is thirsty.
It is. Yeah, and the moment I was able to get a good run there in the first stint, noticed that Ross was doing the classic Daytona move of rolling out in here through the tri-oval. And especially when it was when we had our first proper runs to traffic, he was massively lifting. So I knew immediately the only way we were going to be able to win have a chance at winning was you had to match Ross on fuel strategy and lift out throughout. So yeah, it was touch and go there. Definitely couldn't commit to fuel burn until the very end there. Basically, the run off the bus stop for the final time was the chance of right now we can put the foot in it and go. I think actually, basically that. I think we did it. I did go pretty much flat out into the bus stop as well, but the traffic ahead meant that I maybe had a chance to roll out and really focus on setting up the entry and the exit as well. But yeah, it was definitely touch and go. Like I had a couple of guys in Discord with me driving the caddy as well, and they weren't confident, and they reckoned that it was going to have to be a two-stopper in that 25-minute race. So really showed that it really came down to you had to maximize the fuel from the get-go once you got yourself into a rhythm there at the start.
Well, just make sure you bookmark this month's iRacing top 10 to send it around to the family. I heard you really love Nkosi and some other things.
That is true. That is true indeed. A big thanks to all the boys at Drop Bear Motorsport who are both here in the server tonight, and not great to have Sam Batty back with us in team colours in Pass 2 earlier, along with Tyson and Lockie here and Tom in the Pro-Am. And then to all the team partners, Nkosi Engineering Solutions, Sam Blacklock Media, Hybrid Racing Simulations, and Revolution Race Gear. Big thanks to all of them for being on the car this year once again. And that's another one this week for the Beyond Blue donation drive that we've been doing this year. And add that one to the tally after an F3A win on Tuesday night. So awesome for that. And big thanks to Sam and the AusPass crew for putting on the series, and looking forward to having a watch back of that. All thanks to you guys here tonight as well.
Beautiful. Let's move on through the podium. Your race 2 Cadillac winner there. Nick, how about the man you just pipped to the line, Ross Rizzo?
Hi, I'd like to report a robbery. Yeah, not sure if you caught it on the broadcast, but yeah, the MX-5s, the traffic giveth and it taketh away, and it was giving me all night. It was giving me all kinds of good luck. They were fantastic tonight, so I was waiting for it. And conveniently, what happened is every time I've had a duel coming out of that chicane, regardless of the position I've been, I've always lost. So right on cue, the traffic gods delivered what I believe was destined from the beginning, as I was hobbling around on the final lap thinking, I've got the fuel, I've got the margin, I should be fine provided nothing wild happens, and there we go. But I mean, what a hilarious finish. I mean, you guys were doing the slow motion, and then out of nowhere, MX-5 gets shunted into the Shadow Realm. It's one of the funniest looking finishes I've ever seen. So yeah, it was pretty good fun. But a bit disappointed.
You'd have to say the MX-5s almost gave again if the line was maybe another 10 meters further away. But yeah, that was definitely a little bit of hard luck. But congrats to both of you for going toe to toe the whole night. It was a lot of preparation going into tonight, as you can imagine.
Not necessarily. I mean, as we saw with tonight and Daytona in particular, it's so unpredictable. I mean, first things first is it's very easy to overestimate the level of grip that you've got on the first lap, and we saw Lockie come up second best with that. I went in turn 1 extremely tentative, which allowed, I think, Funslow to dive down the inside and then Ben have a crack around the outside, where unfortunately we made contact. So a real shame for Ben, because he was really quick in that first race, so I was expecting him to feature. But yeah, I guess the preparation was mostly around just trying to be consistent and getting used to the way the car brakes and accelerates, as well as the genuine lack of grip you tend to have when you least expect it. Like, it kind of grips up and then suddenly loses grip. So the corner coming onto the oval in particular is very, very scary. So that was where I was focusing. What practice I did was to try and get consistent exits out of there, because it was probably the most important on the track and the most dangerous.
Absolutely. So going into next week, so we do have Dave Haynes back. I think next week we are at Indy, so continuing on our American tour. Any plans? I suppose there is a bit of practice that's going to go into it over the next week or so.
Certainly. I mean, it's a new track. The updated version of Indy Road and even the old version of Indy Road was seldom used. So one of those tracks takes a while to get used to. It's got a couple of niche kind of driving styles, so that's going to take a little while to wrap the brain around. So yes, naturally a fair bit of preparation does need to go into that. So should be another fun race, probably another draft battle like we saw tonight. So yeah, next week should be good.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Ross, for jumping in and saying hello, and absolutely congratulations on that second place. 0.003 of a second, so you'd still have to be pretty pumped with that. I'm going to take it back to Dave, and think we've got our next interview here. I think it might be Tyson Broad.
Yep, absolutely. He finished third in this one. So, wow, it doesn't let me click two things at once. Right, I'll grab him by the scruff of the neck. We got Tyson Broad, third place finisher. You ran the right strategy, obviously. At what point did you start committing to that?
I actually started committing rather late to that strategy. I thought it was going to be a two-stop guaranteed, but then I saw Dan and Ross kind of fuel saving, and I was sort of just going, well, let's just see how much fuel we can save, and yeah, it ended up being just enough.
Yeah, needed that saving for both stints, it appears. Any little dramas with it maybe right towards the end on that second run?
Not really in terms of fuel saving. We're about a lap and a half to go. I realized that I had enough fuel to get to the end, so it was pushed through for that last lap. Got a slowdown right at the end, so that meant that I kind of had to back off and make sure I cleared that before I went over the line. But yeah, it was just just fuel saving throughout, and then yeah, obviously put the foot down when I knew I had enough.
Speed differential amongst this traffic, pretty insane, and a lot of that comes down to this Cadillac in a straight line just seems to keep on pulling more than a GT3 or a GTE car.
Yeah, it definitely took me by surprise. I did no preparation tonight, so I didn't really have an idea on what to expect. But yeah, that was one of the big things that took me by surprise in the first laps of practice I did, was the speed differential. So I kind of had to account for that in the races and even qualifying. But yeah, that was something that you just have to deal with, and you know, obviously some people get better at it than others.
It's kind of a weird thing that we have these wildcard rounds. We mix it up. It gets a little crazy at times, but it's still for championship points. So how do you balance your approach? And you're going to be happy to be back in GT3 cars next round?
Yeah, somewhat. I mean, I was actually starting to grow to this caddy a little bit, but yeah, glad to go back to GT3s. But yeah, for these wildcards, it's just sort of really like just having fun and not really worrying too much. And yeah, just basically all about why we do this is just about having fun.
Beautiful. Congrats on a decent set of results there, a fifth and a third in what was definitely a chaotic night at Daytona.
Yeah, definitely. I did not expect that after qualifying. I think it was on the back row of the Cadillac field. So yeah, just sort of managed to somewhat cleanly work my way through in the first race, and then yeah, obviously work through all that start chaos in the second one.
We look forward to seeing you in a week's time on the Indianapolis road course.
Yeah, will do. Just got to thank Drop Bear and all their sponsors that Dan named earlier, and series organizer for a great series, SimSpeed for putting on a great broadcast, and the fellow drivers for some great racing.
I'm always sus on people saying thanks SimSpeed for a great broadcast when they haven't seen what we said about them just yet, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries.
So that's about wrapping us up from Daytona. We move on to another world famous American circuit, most historic bricks, I think, anywhere outside of Vesuvius, potentially. It's the newly rescanned, it's fresh, it's minty clean Indianapolis road course. And wow, there is plenty coming up on SimSpeed TV as well. So make sure you're subscribed to us wherever you're watching, because it rolls on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Then we're back. The action almost never stops here in the Australian sim racing community and on SimSpeed TV. For Oz Pro-Am Sim Series, simrigs.com, we look forward to seeing you in a week's time at Indy. I've been David Haynes, with me Nick Scrav and Jay Kennedy producing, pulling us up some of those replays as well, and boy were they worth it. Thanks also go to simrigs.com, Ferguson Group Media, Echuca Toyota, Australian Sim Racing, Phoenix Smokers and Index Designs. See you around at Indy.
So you do like it? I love it. Yeah.
Now when you go pre-owned, you can enjoy the same feeling you get with a new Toyota. Tested and backed by Toyota.
Upgrade your car, mate.
This? Yeah, no big deal.
Toyota certified. Pre-owned in a class of its own. Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.